Greetings. How are you,
Hi,
Miss
greetings.
Adams?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I've been in your classroom several times throughout the year, and I think it's some amazing things going on, and also see some areas where we can argue. But what I don't think is as valuable as what you think. So I want to give you the opportunity to kind of self-reflect and tell me how things are going in your classroom and how things have been going all year.
Yeah, I think one of I think the pros in my classroom has definitely been centered around literacy. I really wanted to make sure the girls loved reading this year. Because in the third grade reading line, they were going to be pushed a lot with reading, and also it's just such a critical time for reading. So just building up my classroom library, where all cultures are represented in the library, where it's a lot of books that are centered around women, and also just learning as much as I can about the science of reading, having centers where I'm constantly pressure, but not honestly pressuring them, but pushing them,
Encouraging, like
encouraging, encouraging them to grow as a reader, whether it's with their fluency or their comprehension, or for some of my lower girls like decoding.
okay.
So I think that's if I could say something I'm most proud of is the literacy in my classroom. There were, like, for example, one of my students, she was at risk for retention, and then when she took her M-STEP, she wasn't even flagged for retention. So just kind of seeing her growth, her going from someone who couldn't read to be able to do that. So that's what I'm most proud of.
Okay, excellent.
And I think the thing that
So was that Z? Was that
yeah,
Z?
yeah.
Excellent, excellent.
And I think the thing that I will really work on next year is my girls really love science,
Okay.
and that's not an area where I'm just, I would say the best teacher, but I don't have a lot of experience with teaching
Okay.
science. So they want us to do a lot of experiments and constantly, and it was a huge undertaking for me because I never taught science before, teaching reading, math, and social studies too. So next year, something I want to do is become, I guess, more of a master at teaching science
Okay.
and more intentional at teaching science, and like teaching them science in a way that will help them moving forward, especially when they start getting tested for science in a standardized way.
Okay. Well, and having yourself reflect, I always try to connect things together. Um, First off, your iReady data was stupendous. You definitely had over 75% of your students reading above grade level. The iReady math scores were great as well. It was the same thing, over 75%. Um, I looked at the science district benchmarks, but it's better for me to ask you to reflect. Out of those areas, you have science, social studies in third grade being one of the most tested grade levels,
Yeah.
up there with eighth grade and 11th grade. Um, Using those test scores and identifying the data, which area of the main content area? So you have science, social studies, math, and ELA. Which one was the lowest?
hmm Um, so we didn't have any standardized testing with science and social studies in third grade.
So it's just math and
It's just math and
ELA. Okay.
ELA. But math needed more work than ELA.
Math, yeah.
I will say that this year, it was my first year teaching third, and I always thought about that third grade reading law. So I put a lot of energy into reading, a lot of energy in literacy, and then with math, I just taught it, but I didn't think about like it from a testing perspective. So next year, that's
So they took
something
MSTEP, right?
they took in step,
Okay.
and they
So
took yeah,
that's where that data will come from.
yeah,
Okay, got it. Got it. And you identified math as the lowest
out of the two,
out
yeah.
of the two.
hmm
But science is the area where you would want to improve. What data marker did you use to determine that science? Or is that just how you feel?
Yeah, I guess I know this is like I guess more qualitative when it comes to
Okay,
data, but the student interest,
the student interest.
they are really interested in science. I would say like 100% of the girls have asked me, when are we going to do more science experiments, or when are we going to do another science thing?
Okay.
And it was something that I kind of was a subject I would consider a back burner subject in my classroom.
Okay.
Like, okay, we focus on math,
Yeah,
reading,
yeah, like the statistics.
and then social studies and science is kind of like it gets in where it fits in. But I want science to, I guess, take more of a center stage in my classroom all year. We did a lot with the STEM Expo,
Okay.
but I want it to be something that from September to June, it has a lot of attention paid to it.
Okay. So I always try to connect things to data. Qualitative data is important as well. It definitely is important. But we know the nature of the beast.
Right, yeah.
Quantitative data is what everyone sees, whereas qualitative affects what we see. Um, so it's almost like climate and culture in a classroom, the relationships. We can feel them and then we can see them too. So, that's how qualitative is. But in connecting it to quantitative, we know we have two big data um, gatherers, which is iReady in math and iReady in ELA. So in identifying iReady math as the lowest between the two, what what area of it do you see yourself needing the most professional development or most help with?
I think for me, it would probably be around small group instruction.
Okay.
Because ELA centers and small group instruction is really compared to math strong.
Okay.
When it comes to math, I wouldn't say that it's weak. I just wouldn't say it's as strong as reading. So I don't think that they did. I think that they show a lot of growth in math, but I think compared to reading, it wasn't the same. So next year, I would want to pay more attention to like my small group instruction for math, making it stronger.
Okay. Let's create a smarter goal, because until we write our goals down on paper, and they're just thoughts, right? In order to make something come to life, it starts with creating a goal and having action steps with those goals. So, in knowing that small group instruction in mathematics is the target area, we have to make it a smarter goal. So we have to attach percentages and numbers to that so we can measure it. So is it a certain amount of times you want to do the small groups? Is it a certain percentage of students that you want to do? What do you want to measure with the small group instruction?
I think the best way to measure is like when I wanted to do small group instruction daily. I do it for ELA daily. Math, I do it for daily, but it is usually one of the ones that might not happen because of the time of math. So we have our math centers at last hour. So as you know, like stuff comes up. Like you have to go to events and stuff during last hour more than we do like second hour. So maybe like intentionally putting the time at a time where I know it's more likely for them to do it on an everyday basis. And then as far as measurement, I think iReady is such a good tool for measuring.
Okay.
I've been able to measure both a lot of reading through iReady. So just being more intentional with iReady math and tracking and progress on there.
So let's say you can agree or disagree. I, Miss Adams, would like 80% of my students to utilize iReady within small group instruction um, on a daily basis by the end of the school week.
Yes, that's perfect.
Okay. So now we can actually use the monitor, because they have progress monitoring with the iReady system, and we can model how long you use iReady, and that can be your progress monitoring for your small group instruction. And then we can check back in weekly. And how long do you think we should do it? Because I have my thoughts, but I want you to feel comfortable with it. Yeah.
I would want it to be maybe once every 2 weeks.
Once every 2 weeks.
That's enough time for some data to approve.
Okay. So we'll set the target goal as such, and we have the action steps, and then I'll follow up in 2 weeks, and we can sit down and meet again, and we can pull the iReady data and do some progress monitoring together. And then if you have questions, you have concerns, or if there's things you're unsure of, then I can give you immediate coaching feedback there.
Okay.
All right. Did you have any other questions for me?
No.
Okay. Well, to be transparent, I enjoyed your self-reflection. It's definitely spot on. For this to be your first year at DIA, I think you did stupendous. I'm thankful that you were able to identify, though, even with all of the success you've had this year, which has been, second to none. I think you were exemplary for our shared vision as a school, and basically kind of taking the reins and lead in learning centers. and it was veteran teachers that couldn't even really do it. And for you to be in your first year at DIA and kind of lead the whole third grade and become, a model for other teachers. You also, in your first year as a teacher, took on a mentoring role for a veteran teacher, which is almost unheard of. So we're very thankful for you here at DIA, and we're looking forward to next year. And I'll follow back up with you in 2 weeks to see how things are going with the iReady and the progress monitoring to see how long and how much they're doing progress monitoring, and then get a gauge for you because, like you said, qualitative fun too, right?
Yeah.
Qualitative too. So to see how your confidence and how you're feeling. Um, and even though we didn't quite identify that as a target goal with the science, we can still gauge in that and create a survey to monitor that as well to get a kind of feel of the students because if you want to increase science instruction, you can do that as well. That can be kind of like a secondary target, but I want to make sure that I'm referencing both the qualitative and quantitative data.
Okay.
Did you have any questions for me?
No.
All right. I want to thank you
Thank
and
you.
congratulations on a great year.
Thank
And anything
you.
I can do to help you develop professionally, I'm always here.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great day.
Okay.